This is KGW News at noon.
Our top story, new revelations in the scandal involving Oregon Secretary of State Shemia Fagan and her role as a consultant for a cannabis firm. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Brenda Braxton. The Oregonian and Willamette Week got a hold of emails showing that Fagan shared the state's audit of the cannabis industry with the owners of LaMotta Dispensary. She later included their suggestions in an updated version of the audit. Earlier this week, Fagan announced that she ended her consulting contract with LaMotta. Then a day later, she resigned as Secretary of State. Court records indicate the company has racked up millions of dollars in unpaid taxes and has been repeatedly sued for not paying its bills. Governor Tina Kotek has asked the state DOJ to examine the audit. Here's what she had to say about the scandal shortly after it broke.
I let her know that I was concerned by the news reports. I want to make sure that when we read that audit, we are confident those results are based on good auditing practices and looking at performance.
Fagan officially leaves the Secretary's office on Monday. Then Deputy Secretary of State Cheryl Myers will take over until Governor Kotek appoints a permanent replacement. Let's take a look outside now from our Wells Fargo Skycam on this Friday afternoon. Ooh, pretty gray. Overcast skies over the Rose City. Chris McGinnis is in for Rod today, and you're tracking the chance of rain later today.
The chance of rain, which I will say this, Brenda, that chance of rain has gotten a little smaller from what it looked like earlier this morning. And in fact, as we look at radar right now, we have had some persistent light rain showers up in portions of Cowlitz County and beyond, and up in the Cascade foothills. Some snow flurries in the Cascades above about 4,500 feet. But for the most part, Northwest Oregon and Southwest Washington have been generally dry, maybe a little mist and drizzle here and there, but rain is falling in the eastern Columbia River Gorge, now towards eastern Oregon, Baker City, Pendleton, Arlington. You folks have been getting on and off wet. There's the low that's been responsible for our wet weather the last couple of days. Futurecast is insistent on probably overdoing it with the green blobs here, but it certainly keeps the cloud cover in place. And beneath that cloud cover, it's possible we squeeze out a sprinkler or two, but generally, I think the rest of our afternoon is looking more cloudy than anything. If you see a sprinkle, consider yourself lucky. That's kind of the rest of the way the rest of our Friday afternoon is looking. Certainly gray out there. It's 57, by the way, last check at PDX. So the temperature has come up a little bit, and we will likely hold in those mid to upper 50s today. I do have a shower chance, but again, I think most folks will probably avoid wet weather. The wet weather threat, though, does continue into this weekend, so we'll walk you through that. And Brenda, it's just kind of throwing this out there. The deep tease next weekend is looking really warm. More on that in a bit.
It feels like summer, I bet. All right. Thank you, Chris. Today, the head of the CDC announced she's resigning. Dr. Rochelle Walensky says it's a good time to move on now that the COVID emergency declaration is ending soon. Her last day will be June 30th. She's been at the helm of the CDC for just over 2 years. An interim director hasn't been named yet. Meanwhile, right now, the Washington State Department of Health is holding a briefing about what's going to happen after the nationwide emergency declaration comes to an end. It does expire Thursday, May 11th. The meeting started less than an hour ago. State Chief Science Officer Tao Sheng Kwan Get says the state will continue to support some free testing programs.
The Washington Department of Health will continue to support schools with access to testing supplies into the 2023-2024 school year. The Department of Health will continue to support access to testing through local health jurisdictions and tribal partners, early childhood education centers, fire and emergency medical service partners, homeless shelters, and rural independent pharmacy partners.
You can still order up to 4 free kits online until May 11th. Just go to covid.gov. If you already have kits at home, you can also see the FDA's updated guidelines about when they expire. Now to a troubling case out of Washington County. Investigators confirm they arrested a couple in Tigard accused of severe child abuse. The husband will be in court this afternoon, and detectives worry he and his wife may have more victims. Catherine Cook talked to authorities, and some of the details are difficult to hear.
Pretty horrific information.
Washington County Sheriff Sergeant Danny DePietro says he's never dealt with a case like this. It stems around a home in unincorporated Tigard where 2 adults, 9 kids, and 2 young adults all lived. Last week, detectives launched an investigation into alleged abuse at the home. They learned a child was being chained up, often for more than 12 hours a day. They say the child was also strangled, hit, kicked, and verbally abused.
Inside the home, they found evidence to corroborate the allegations.
Investigators learned the abuse had gone on for nearly a year and was allegedly the result of the child taking drinks and food from the kitchen. Investigators say a second victim in this case is a young adult.
These crimes in themselves, these circumstances are horrific. Let's be honest, they shock the conscience.
Detectives arrested 67-year-old Anna Miranda and her husband, 74-year-old Charles Randy Ward, for criminal mistreatment in the first degree. Investigators also learned Miranda had allegedly assaulted several other children in the home over many years. On Wednesday, the case went before a grand jury. That led to more charges against Miranda, including assault in the second degree and strangulation. Investigators are looking for more information on both Miranda and Ward, including any circumstances that might make someone question them. They strongly believe there could be more victims.
So we're trying to figure out what else could have happened in that home and if anyone else was hurt, abused, had any similar circumstances happen.
DePietro says the children in this case are now safe with responsible adults. He also clarified that they're not part of the foster care system. Beyond that, investigators aren't saying how the kids and the suspects are connected, other than they're all known to each other.
Our goal here is to protect the victim and victims as much as possible. This is horrific, what they've had to go through, so any more trauma, we'll do anything and everything we can to protect them.
In Washington County, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Next week, you can weigh in on Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler's proposed budget for the next fiscal year. The $7 billion plan includes money to hire 43 more police officers, reinstate a program that Portland Fire has, tackle homelessness, and return the elk statue to downtown Portland. It also funds the overhaul of city government, which voters approved back in November. There will be a public hearing on the budget next Thursday. Then the City Council must approve the final version next month. Well, the City of Portland has selected a California nonprofit to run its latest Safe Rest Village. Urban Alchemy will manage the Peninsula Crossing in North Portland. This is the same organization chosen to operate the city's first sanctioned homeless camp. It's on Southeast 13th and Powell, but has yet to open. Well, today is Cinco de Mayo, and Portland's Fiesta is back this year after a 3-year break because of COVID. This is the largest multicultural festival in the state of Oregon. So here's what you need to know about it. The Cinco de Mayo Fiesta is down along Waterfront Park. It's open today through Sunday from 11 to 11. Admission is $10 for adults and $8 for kids. You can head to cincodeMayoPortland.com for more information.